the rotted floor joists. Then, we expanded this opening between the kitchen and the living room. It made it feel so much bigger. Next, we gave the entire house a brand new coat of paint. And last, we laid down brand new floors. We laid out the plan for what the new kitchen would look like, including the brand new appliances. With a lot of work, we installed everything to match the plan, giving us our brand new kitchen. This kitchen has come so far. New counters, new cabinets, sink, appliances. I honestly can't believe what we were able to do. Shay is gonna love it. Today, we're adding new AC and heat, a new roof, and brand new siding.
She even fully furnished the inside for Shay to feel at home.
So today, we're picking out a bunch of furniture for the house. So we just got literally every piece of furniture we think Shay is gonna need for the house. Hopefully it all fits in the car. The car is officially filled.
And made it as safe and secure as possible for her.
So we finished all of the interiors of the house, but the most important thing for me is that our house is as safe as possible. So I chatted with ADT and we installed everything Shay would need to make her feel safe. We got sensors on all the doors and windows, outdoor cameras, smoke alarms, smart door lock, the ADT command panel which controls everything, including the temperature, and the Google Nest doorbell. Moving to a new place can be pretty scary, but I'm so thankful that Shay will feel secure in her new home.
Eventually, Shay was able to move into her newly renovated, safe, furnished home.
Today, Shay is finally seeing her new house for the first time.
0 calories and made with the leaves of the stevia plant, grown in the USA. Splenda stevia.
Wait.
Wow, that is just so beautiful, isn't it? Wow. This is great.
Right?
Oh my god. Great.
Oh my god.
Wow, the whole puppers gonna love that.
I was so nervous this whole time. Oh my gosh.
Are you overwhelmed?
I'm very overwhelmed. It's unbelievable, actually.
I couldn't be there when Shay arrived, so we chatted on the phone.
Yeah, we're in the house. Oh my gosh, I am. Wow. This is amazing. Oh my gosh.
To help Shay fill the house with everything she needs, I've left an Amazon wish list in my bio.
Oh, shit.
Thank you to everyone who made this journey
bad.
possible.
Yeah,
Welcome home, Shay.
And on top of that,
Oh,
wish
man.
list for donations to be sent to help Shay out.
Okay,
Debbie
let's try
wasn't
this again.
finished with giving to Shay.
Because
Shay's
it seems to
officially
me
gotten
when
it
I
all.
tried to do the
One
prism
more
stream
big
last
surprise.
time and I saved the
Throughout the
information,
renovation, Shutterfly
it didn't
and
even
Spoonflower
save
have been there to
anything,
give
and
us
I'm trying to
tons of
figure out
things to
why.
make our
Why
house
did it
feel more
happen like
home.
that? I
But
don't
the
know.
surprise
I have
is our
no
biggest
idea.
yet. After Shay explored the
Wolfgang,
house,
what's up,
we learned
Saul?
that there was
Man,
one
how
big
y'all guys
package
going
left
today?
to
How y'all
open.
doing today?
Have you
How's
opened
everything
the
with y'all?
box yet?
It's good to see you guys again. Yeah, I did stream a little earlier this week, but unfortunately it didn't save anything, and I'm trying to figure out why it did not, and I don't know why.
Shay will now have $10,000 to start her new life in Tennessee.
It's kind of ridiculous,
So,
really.
in
It really is. It really is kind of
2022,
ridiculous
she put
just
so much
seeing that
thought,
happen.
time, and effort into making the
But I
home
wanted to
work
say
for
hello,
Shay,
everybody.
arranged
And I
to
see
gift
that the
her
numbers are kicking in,
$10,000,
particularly on
and
YouTube
it
side.
seems they were
So
creating a
welcome
lasting
aboard.
friendship.
Welcome to the
And
stream.
why did
And
someone
my
make
name
a
is Big Brother
comment in
G&E.
April of this year
And,
that says, "Hi, I'm from the future. Don't give Shay the house. Thank me later." Obviously, this
quite
commenter
happy.
knows something that Demi from 2022 didn't. But
That's weird.
what could have happened to make them advise against her even giving Shay the house at all? Well, flash forward to April 2024, when Shay got onto TikTok and shared this video that reads, "When I literally won a house from a TikToker, but then was later banned from the property." That's right. According to Shay, Demi had banned her from setting foot on the property. But how could this have happened? Everything had been going so well. The friendship, the house, and all that came with it. So what changed? Apparently, Shay decided to share some details with her followers.
Shay posted in her comments explaining the situation, and she said that when she moved into the
Read
house,
50 Shades of
there was
Grey right
black
now?
mold everywhere. She also said that the
You want me to read
keys
50
never
Shades?
given
Are you
to
serious?
her, and she said that Jimmy was
All right, I'm gonna read it for you. Be right back. Let me get it. Since y'all so nice about it. The read aloud version? Really? Are you serious? Adam Rock, and it rocks your mama. Oh, Adam rocks your mama. Okay. All right, so you want me to go ahead and read this, huh? All right. So let's see. We're going to do this. Let's go ahead and read this, okay? This is 50 Shades of Grey. You ready? El elevador, mamá está durmiendo o entero está doente de nuevo. Ah! Wait a second. This is Portuguese. Would you like me to read it in Portuguese? Yeah. You ready? Here you go. This is the prologue. Elevator. Mamá está dormindo, orientado está doente de nuevo. Yo me escondo en el rosco debajo da mesa de cocina. Por entre meus dedos puedo ver mamá. Él está dormindo no sofá, como mamá sobre el tapete, verde pergoloso. Ela está usando sus botas grandes con fivelas brillantes y está de pie junto de ella, gritando. El rector mamá con un cinto. Levántese, levántese, você era como uma cadela, filha da puta. Você era uma cadela, filha da puta. Você era uma cadela, filha da puta. Você era uma cadela, filha da puta. Você é uma cadela, filha da puta. Você é uma cadela, filha da puta. Mamãe só luta. Pare, por favor, pare. Mamãe não grito. Mamãe corre. Yep. 50 Shades of Grey, brother. In Portuguese. You still want me to read more of it? Or do you understand me? Fear. Fear. Oh, jeez. That's fire. All right. You know, I just made a mistake. So I was supposed to buy this in Spanish, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then I realized when I started reading it just now, I realized that I'm reading it in Portuguese as opposed to Spanish. Oh, shit. Great. So now I'm basically reading. So now I got Portuguese and I got Spanish in my house. What up, man? Long time no see. Hey, what's up, Isaac? How you doing, my man? It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. How's life treating you? I'm doing okay personally. I mean, it's been a while. How long has it been since we last spoken to each other? Because I'm pretty sure it's been like years since then. I'm trying to figure that one out.
Holding her packages hostage and that she was not being allowed to go back to the house.
Demi had continued posting regular coverage of the second season of her trade report, but when Shay shared this TikTok, negative comments began flooding her posts, and she decided she couldn't sit by and let the slander continue.
Is your cleanser actually stripping your skin? Try.
Well, I mean, a lot has actually happened to me since then. So,
hi guys.
You're probably looking at the background and you realize it's a bit of a different atmosphere. Yeah. Maybe the picture could actually give you a little bit more. As you can see, I'm out. I have my own house right now. I am officially a homeowner. I've been a homeowner since 2023, I want to say. Yeah, it's got to be 2023. Yeah. It's been since 2023 since I've actually been in this house. And it's been quite a joy, been kind of a joy. Also, I am a happily married man, so so no kids and all that though. But I also have a very good career, which has been going very well for me, and more than ever, it's going to be really beautiful. So that's where I'm at right now in terms of where I am. Oh, I know it's been very expensive, but this isn't a new construction. This is actually an old construction. Like, this is old classic style construction home. We're talking about back in the early 2000s that it was renovated, and it was actually built much earlier than that. But it's it's a pretty decent property, I would definitely say. And I live in a rural area, and the neighbors it's pretty quiet around here. My neighbors are actually very good, and we got it at a foreclosure. So that's a really, really good deal. Plus it has, I would say, some of the amenities that my wife and I have been looking at, and it's more like a starter home per se, because, well, to me, I feel like this is just a home, but for my wife, it's probably going to be a starter. It's just a starter home, so it's something that we probably have to go bigger. Not really for me, but you get the idea. Hey, how you doing, Andrea Rodriguez? Good to see you. How you doing today? I'm doing okay, though. Right now, just kind of resting up a little bit, relaxing myself. And actually, I did stream a little earlier this week, though, but it seemed like the stream didn't go well as planned because they didn't really have too many people popping in, so I was a little disappointed in that. I mean, not just that, though, but I mean, like, I think it just didn't go live as anticipated, because when I finished it, it didn't show up on Twitch and didn't show up on YouTube, probably 6 seconds of the video, and that was about it. And I was very puzzled as to what happened, but right now I'm just trying to see how far this stream will go and how long it's going to be before it actually does the same thing like it did before. But I'm doing good. How about yourself, Andrea? How's life treating you?
So you might have seen this video.
And well, Amanda, let me
In
give
order
me some
to
water.
protect Shay, I had decided not to post anything about this entire situation, but now it's time to come with the receipts.
And come with the receipts. Demi proceeded to go over text and video evidence of a story the public had no idea about and shed light on the whole situation.
Shay moved into the house. She brought her boyfriend, her boyfriend's mom, and all of her animals. Everything seemed great. She sent me a video.
When's the next vacation? I took my vacation
2022, so
back in May. So it was May 20th, and my next one is actually going to be on the 20th of October. So that's going to be the beginning, pretty much. So I'll be readily available to kind of relax and take 2 weeks off.
A lot of
That's
packages
how it
are
is with
outside
me.
of the house getting wet. Shocked by the message and concerned for the products that people had gifted to Shay through the Amazon wish list getting damaged in the rain, Demi replied back asking them if they wouldn't mind putting the packages in the backyard under the stairs for her. She then reached out to Shay to see what was going on.
when I messaged Shay about it that same day,
That's kind of up in the air. I have no idea where I'm going to go. Wait, PNW? What is the PNW again? Andrea, help me out with that. And where am I heading to? I have no idea, to be honest with you. The last vacation, we just took a trip to Mississippi and we stayed for the weekend. And for the remainder of that week, we just kind of relaxed and just trying to cut up with some honey to do stuff, like talking about it. But as far as where we might go, for this vacation, we have a lot of options that we're thinking about. Oh, Pacific Northwest. Oh man, staying cool in the 80 and 90 degree weather here in the. Well, I'm in the South, so I understand the hot weather pretty well. Plus, it's hurricane season around here. Not the best time, but we're all ready for it, pretty much. I just need to buy a generator. Anyway, I have my vacation. Yeah, so we're kind of thinking about. We're probably going to still kind of keep it slow, keep it small. Don't really want to do any hyper expensive payments or anything of the sort. I'm not really here to really spend a lot of money. To me, when it comes to vacation, I would prefer to just kind of rest up and sleep. But after spending like the weekend in Mississippi and all that, going to the beach and just enjoying our time there, even though it was very minimal, it was still pretty nice. It was actually a pretty nice experience, and I liked it a lot. But I will tell you this, though. As far as food goes, I wasn't really impressed with any of the food because it seemed like it was kind of dry to me. Like you go to a place called the Snapper, Red Snapper, and they don't sell red snappers at all. So that was kind of out of the question. And then after that. But I would say the atmosphere is actually pretty clean, kind of decent, I think. And it's a big pain in the ass, I would say. I would definitely say like, but it was a very nice little ride, and I really enjoyed it. And it's something that I may consider going back to, but we're probably gonna keep our options open to try other places to check out. But like I said, I mean, vacation to me, it's really just for me to just wind down and just kind of relax. And me being a homebody, gaming is always going to be like my number one. So I would prefer to use my time wisely for vacation purposes to catch up on everything that I've been wanting to play for a while. And that's about it.
Said, quote, I'm trying to find a flight back to Clarksville.
Demi found someone on Instagram who lived in the area and was willing to pick up the packages and keep them at her place until Shay was able to return to collect them.
But this is where things
But that
really
is kind of
start
like,
to
that's kind of the
Through
gist that I'm at
August,
right now.
she would message
So,
Shay,
but right
and she would
now,
say, "Oh,
based on my
I'll
personal
be
schedule, I
free
mean, I
on
get time off.
On
It's just that
September
I
27th, it had been
actually have the
almost 2
option to
months
do a little
sorting
extra if I
these
wanted
packages
to.
with no
And
sense
I
that
do
she
go
would
back tomorrow
return.
anyway.
So, she and the woman who had been storing all of the packages decided that they would donate all of them to Goodwill.
On October 6th, 2022, it had been 4 months since she had been at the house, and I asked her if she had ever planned to return. And I'll actually look over and read this directly because this is like a little bit heartbreaking. So she told me she was a bit overwhelmed, which I completely understood by the situation, and that she had gone back to Pennsylvania. Totally fine. So I replied, oh my gosh, I totally get it. That seems so reasonable. Either way, I'm so proud of you, and you'll figure it out. In the meantime, I don't mind managing everything that comes up. I'll have the grass cut for the next year. I just want to make sure you're okay. And if you need anything, you can get it.
6 months later, Demi messaged Shay again, this time to let her know that she needed to transfer everything into her name.
She replied that she needed to think about it. She was sorry about all the poor communication. So I continued to let all of this go. We talked February, March, April, May, all the way through August. She continued to say that she was moving back in. We were giving her time, but she never moved back in. So August 13th, 2023, I actually went down to Clarksville to see what was happening with this house. She hadn't been there in 14 months, and this is where things get
Wow,
insane.
this is actually a pretty strange little story.
We got to the house, and the house was completely ruined. Everything inside, but essentially there was pee on the ground. All of the
crap.
garbage that had been used in the month that she was there was jammed into closets. So you can imagine what it looks like after 14 months.
14
I've
months
never seen
of
anything like this.
wow. So I've never even heard
cried
about
in
something
the
like this. This is a
front
really
yard of the
weird
house.
story. So let me get
Can't
this
imagine
straight.
that somebody would do this.
How's my
and
wife?
After 14 months of me talking with her,
She's doing
this
fine.
entire
Right now, she's just at work at the moment. She doesn't get off until later on tonight, but she's fine. I mean, she's doing fine. Just as good as usual. I know I got to go back to work tomorrow anyway, so it's gonna be a long day and night. But yeah, but actually though, I'm looking at this documentary that they have on YouTube, and it's pretty fascinating, really. But I don't know, like, it seems to me there's been a lot of changes and everything. And like I said, I've been trying to do some stuff on here anyway, like talking about it. But what's going on with you lately, though? I just want to know what's going on with you, Andrea. And I do apologize for being a bit of a scatterbrain because I'm just trying to wind myself down, so my brain is pretty much in overdrive, so I can't necessarily articulate myself the way that I want to. And I'll probably get distracted a little bit easier. Oh, and actually earlier, about 5 minutes ago, some dude wanted me to go ahead and read 50 Shades of Grey, but got a little funny story about that. I picked up the Portuguese. I picked it up in Portuguese, and my original thought process was I got it in Spanish. Turned out that wasn't the case. That's kind of funny, actually, when you think about it.
And her saying she was moving back, we're just waiting, we just needed more time. And I honestly believed that.
Demi went on to share more footage of the state of the house, and she was shaken.
That is so fucking nasty.
I'm like actually so sad for her. Like so sad for
Oh,
the house
wow.
journey and like I just like don't know who to be sadder for. And I'm so fucking stupid.
2 delicious wake-up wrap sandwiches, and a
Oh, this is gonna be a good scatterbrain. I'm currently waiting to get into my own place for the very first time. Oh yeah, nice, nice. Did you you got your dream house and everything? Did you get to? Do you have like your personal dream home that you have finally gotten, or is it a starter home?
Ruin the house.
And are you going through the process currently with all of the insurance payment, all the down payments, closing costs, and all that stuff? It's a long journey, really. Yahoy também. Vou embora. What's up, Fairlight? How you doing, my man? What's going on with you? I mean, it's kind of a scary thought about moving into your first house. But the process, and I guess it's kind of true because my mom actually mentioned this to me a while back, it's easier to get yourself a house than it is to buy a car, because with buying a car at a dealership especially, they try to stick up all kinds of prices just to increase the price of the vehicle, and they'll do whatever they can in order to get more money out of you. Whereas with the house, you get what you get, and they just go through the process, and that's about it. There's a lot of paperwork to be had, but once you secure the house and you can do the closing costs. Oh, hoping to get to a bottom unit here in the town. So it's not a house. It's more like an apartment complex, or you say bottom unit. You're talking about like a house or something, huh?
And she apologized.
The messages that Demi shared between herself and Shay from that day read, "Hi, I stopped by the house today and was really, really shocked by the condition. I'm not sure if you're going to reply, but I'm pretty devastated. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume that due to the property damage, health, safety violations in the house, you understand you will no longer have access to the property or anything in it, and the house will remain in my name as my property. I just don't know how you left it like this after all this." To which Shay replied, "That's understandable. I appreciate everything you did," adding that she had left a window open and, "I am 19 and lost and confused about being an adult, and I don't know
Oh, you
what
went
I'm
on
doing
apartment.
about anything
Oh.
right now. And I
Hey, look,
didn't
I'm
know
gonna tell you
what to
this,
do.
apartment
I'm sorry
living.
about
I've lived
everything."
in
Demi
apartments
thanked her for
before,
replying and simply said,
and
"I'm just
I'll tell you
sad
what.
this is the state you left it in." Shay wrote,
If
"I'm
this is
very
your first
upset and
time getting an
disappointed in
apartment,
myself as well." Demi and her husband proceeded to spend
good
the next
luck,
24 hours
because
cleaning
here's
the
hoping
home
that the
and
apartment
trying to
complex
restore it to the state they had left
is
it in when it
up
was given
to
Shay.
general
Maggots
good standards,
and
because
trash and
it's easy for them to actually
everything
sell
that
you
was
something
left
that looks
there.
very pretty on
Demi
the
had all
outside
of these texts
and within
video
quick
proof of
glance,
the damage that was done
but
to the
they
home
also
for
know they can
almost
take
a year
advantage of
before
people
posting it in
who might be
April
desperate to find a place to
2024.
live.
So why didn't
And
she share it with her followers
if they
earlier?
basically
But
sell
I
you something
decided
where they
it
painted
wasn't worth
over
it from a
all the
human
mold and everything all over the place,
for
and
me
if you
to
don't
get
really read the
used
contract thoroughly,
and show this
it's
damage,
going to be a
really, this
major
is a
hassle for
person
one
that has
whole
a
year that
lot
you're going to be
going on in
staying
their
there, and you're
life.
going to have to put up with a lot of this stuff. And then if you have, if things break down, you contact maintenance all the time, and they're going to wind up asking you to go ahead and secure an appointment, and they're going to probably jack up the price of you when you renew your contract, because
receipt, every screenshot,
they are
all the things that have happened
apartment
in the last
living,
year and
they
a
are
half
shady.
with this house.
Because I can tell you from personal experience,
just so you
it's
can understand.
it was kind of
People
a
were very
pain in the
sympathetic to
ass.
situation
And I'll be honest with you,
hearing
like
her side of the story.
getting an
And
apartment
understood
initially,
all of Demi's hard work
when I
and
first
care
moved
that she
into
had
mine,
shown to
I mean,
Shay.
having my own
You
apartment on my
handled
own
this
without anyone
so
living with me or
well.
vice
As a
versa.
single
Well, yeah,
mom
that's the
who would have
thing.
spent the rest
But
of
then
her
again,
life
with you,
crying
you know, you're
lavishly
going
if
by
someone
yourself.
did
With
this
me,
for
it was me and
I'm
my
so sorry
my
your
wife.
kindness was treated
So
like this. As
before we
someone
got
who's
married and all
probably
that, we
never
just
going
moved
to
in
be a
together.
homeowner
So
due
we
to
were
the
trying to
sheer
do this whole
housing
living
crisis,
together,
this
everything
breaks
before we
my
got married,
heart.
and
She did
you know,
that
we did
in
very
a
good with that.
month? That's crazy.
And
OMG.
but
I would
it was
have
more
taken
like
amazing care of a house that was gifted to me. I'm so sorry she did that to you. OMG. I'm sad that you're being villainized after being so kind to someone. Hope you're well.
I mean, it's kind of like this though. Like when you do that, yeah. I mean, that's good. But here's the thing though: is the price reasonable? And how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you have? Like, if it's just a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, would you say that the size in relation to the dimensions of each room and everything, and the quality of the atmosphere and location, is it up to standard? So that's where we're talking about.
The worst thing is she could have respectfully declined the house offer once she realized she couldn't maintain it. I'm so sorry this happened. I know how dedicated you were to making this house amazing from behind the scenes, and this is so devastating. Please let me know if I can help at all. And a number of people did not get on board with Shay using her age as an excuse to behave the way she did. Moved to a different continent at 17 and got my first apartment. Even with no guidance, I knew not to do this. I'm 23 and have been homeless since I was 18. It is insane to me the things people take for granted. I would never leave this house if it were mine. And some people were simply confused how Demi was able to take the house back in the first place.
Did they let you do a walkthrough of the place as of yet? Because I know, like, if you go online and you look at the way how the units look, they look very presentable and really beautiful. But if you go inside the place itself, it's probably going to look a different story. So I would definitely say if you do the walkthrough, pay very close attention to what you're look very carefully. Look for every single nook and cranny, anything else, anything that seems kind of off-putting. Check the pipes, check the bathroom, check the kitchen, all that. Because when you do that, that's when you know if you're going to have if you're going to run into some problems. Because I do remember, like, when I first moved in, it was a different. It felt very good being able to at least be on my own and actually have a place to call our own. We can do whatever we want. But I forgot. There's a couple things we have to forget that we almost forgot. One, because we live in an apartment complex, that means that you're sharing it with other people next door to you, across from you, and then and if you were like me, I lived on the 3rd floor. There are people living beneath me, and the last thing you want to do is play a game that requires you to do some heavy physical activity, and all of a sudden you get a knock on the door, boom, 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 and then they tell you, stop that bullshit on the fucking ground. And you never get a chance to do that again. But it's a pain in the ass, really. But if it's it's your first time, it's always like this great thing. But then once you start seeing the problems start kicking, I live in a Kermit apartment complex for a decade, and the rule, once a tenant moves out, they tear everything out. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, maybe where you live at, that might be the case, but the rules and regulations where I am at probably are so relaxed, they don't really care. What they do is they just basically, and this is another kicker, they literally have to tear, they would have to tear everything out, because there was a hurricane that took root around the time we moved in, about a year before, after we moved in. And that hurricane was no joke. That hurricane was no joke. And it destroyed the whole apartment complex. Practically, it was bad. Like, my wife was actually staying with a friend of hers further away from the whole thing. They didn't get much of anything. But I stayed behind in the apartment complex, and I pretty much tidied up every little single thing. I've cleaned the place out. I've cleaned the place. I made everything spotless, and I made sure that everything was taken care of, vacuumed. And it was like, I'm just going to wait until it blows over. Because, you think that everything is just going to blow over. But it turned out that the disaster really took root, and it was pretty bad. So for about a month or so, it was probably like a month or so. And what's funny about it was that it was like a month before we had to renew our contract. And we actually had to provide a lot of video proof, picture proof, showcasing that we had lost everything. And that was terrible. And they looked at us kind of nonchalant, all the while at the same time you see them in the people, the property manager in the office, they just look at everybody kind of funny and stupidly and celebrating, having cake and everything in there. Like, what are you people actually doing when you have a bunch of people suffering and having to lose a lot of shit in their damn apartment? They didn't care. And then we moved out. And luckily, we actually knew somebody that actually rented a house to us, an actual house. And we were able to save up money in order to get the house that we're living in right now. So we went from apartment complex to renting out a house to becoming a homeowner. That was actually a pretty good feel-good story. Everything kind of fell into place in the weirdest way possible, which I liked. It feels kind of surreal still on so many levels, slowly fading away into the darkness, as you shall.
After she had supposedly given it to Shay. I'm confused because you said you gave her the house. How are you now taking it back?
That sizzle, that's the soundtrack of Chipotle.
Literally melt in your mouth tender. Let's see our chicken glistening. Our fajita sizzling. It's magic happening. And this is gonna be in your bowl. This is it.
And I know, like, not every single apartment living is like that, because even prior to living in that apartment, way back in 2005, 2006, you know, we lived in an apartment complex that was generally pretty good, or at least from our experience.
As a reminder, Shay began living in the house before they were able to do that, and when Demi reached out to Shay to make it happen, Shay told her she had to think about it. So technically, the home was still legally in Demi's possession. Shay's TikTok account had since been turned to private, and neither she nor Demi has shared anything more on the matter between the two of them. But what about the house? Demi did share an update on it.
I was trying to find again the perfect person, and I think I made some mistakes in picking the woman that I had, or maybe in retrospect it didn't seem as right. So I ended up finding this really amazing organization called Manifest Magic, which helps women of color in Clarksville, Tennessee, which is where the house is. They know the area. I spoke to the person that runs the entire association, and they help women in any situation. They do education programs. They needed a resource to help have a place for women to do counseling services, or have a kitchen, or a safe place to be. I handed over the house, I don't know, a couple weeks back now. So the house is fully owned by this organization called Manifest Magic, and hopefully it goes on to help a ton of women in different situations.
What a great way to end a rough situation. What took Demi over a year and a half to get her hands on. All of the hard work, thought, and care she put into the home for Shay, only for it to be destroyed, and then have her name bashed on TikTok. Throughout it all, Demi continued to show grace, and the product of her
Am I under the weather? Are you talking about, like, my mood, or are you just talking about, like, what kind of weather we're having outside? If not, I mean, I'm okay right now. I feel pretty good right now. I'm just, I'm just full from eating earlier, so now I'm just kind of relaxing myself. What the hell is this shit? Wow, I don't even know what the hell this is supposed to be. But as far as like the weather outside, it's actually getting dark outside. It's pretty mid, I would say.
We can joke all we want about the dank recesses of TikTok and YouTube shorts where brain cells go to die, or the apocalyptic levels of cringe consistently blasted out by fans of every franchise in the world. But the internet and the creations it is allowed for have no doubt vastly influenced the lives of every single person watching this video. I know you're all terminally online, but the internet can be poisonous too. It allows for
She's sniffling a bit. I was wondering if you were fighting off a cold or something.
And these things can occur not only in its
No, I just have sinus issues.
but sometimes
Sometimes. And I came back from the weather sometimes too. But no, I don't have any sinus issues right now. I was kind of sick last week. But there was something going on. There was something coming. There was something going around throughout the whole week. So I don't know. It was like pneumonia or some kind of strain of the flu or something. But I was able to prevent myself from getting it worse than what most people might have actually
comments
gotten
about one of the creators whose posts I had shown on screen, and specifically about how this creator had been accused of being a degenerate and a groomer in a series of call-out documents totaling nearly 300 pages. Well, I decided to look into it, and what I discovered was quite the degenerate ride. The individual we find ourselves discussing here today is an animator known as CineBear03, and the controversy that erupted around her in September of 2024 was among the most insane I've ever witnessed on the internet. Over the course of my time online, I've seen no shortage of exposed
I don't know.
videos.
You know, I feel pretty good right now. It's just I do get the sniffle sometimes, and I do have a little bit of a sinus issue. But
I have to say,
oh yeah, I agree. It is the worst because here's the thing: it's the worst when it's supposed to be the time for you to take off, or if you're on vacation, and especially like during certain periods where you want to be at your best. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Nothing would irritate me more than for me to get sick around the time that it's Christmas time and it snows. And snow is very rare where I am. And if it does snow, which actually happened in January this year, the snow would have to be my comfort. It would be the most magical moment in my entire life. Even as an adult, it would be a very magical circumstance that I would perfectly indulge in. Because I really enjoy seeing snow and experiencing it. But it's not something that I would think I would enjoy if it was a constant thing. But that once in a lifetime opportunity, or in those rare moments in my lifetime where snow does fall, where there is snowfall, where I am, I don't want to be sick. I want to enjoy it at the best. Luckily, I wasn't sick this year, but another circumstance actually took root. And I was mad at myself every single minute. But at the end of the day, looking back on it, it was a funny journey.
You might want to send this video out. Furthermore,
but that's also the reason why, like, if I feel like I'm coming down with something, I take something way before it actually gets worse. Take preventative measures to make sure it doesn't get worse.
Who has made them, and what the reaction to them has been, and I will let you all come to your own conclusions. I will also be including the documents and videos cited in the description, so if you want to do research on your own, feel free to do so, though obviously be forewarned that the content may be disturbing. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's finally get started. CineBear03 is a YouTube animator with more than 500,000 subscribers, though she came close to falling below that number after the allegations led to her losing nearly 20,000 of them. Over the course of the decade her channel has been on this site, her content has changed drastically.
Yeah, Chris wanted to make myself some tea. One of the pipes were, so I couldn't make my tea.
Oh shit! She was only 10 years old. And side note,
let me guess. It was really cold that day that the pipes froze, and then when it started to melt and all that, it started to burst. Did you wrap up the pipes or no? Man, that had to really suck. Would have been nice to actually enjoy some tea while it was cold outside on Christmas Day. Perfect day for tea and hot cocoa. Just have a little cup, watch the snowfall, and just bask in the beauty of it, you know? One of the most magical times of the year. It was one of the underground pipes, and the ground was frozen solid. Ooh, damn! How long did it take for y'all to get? How long did it take for the pipe to be addressed and all that though? So you couldn't make your tea. How long did it take before they actually came to repair it? Was like the next day, I take it. So you were without water for the whole day, I would imagine.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is one of the most...
for one of 4 delicious $7 Phillips from
Ooh.
AMC. And see F1 the movie in theaters now.
5 years later,
It took roughly a day or a day and a half. Oh.
Stephanie Sue versus Nikocado Avocado.
Why didn't you tell him no, Nick? I
That's
don't want
terrible.
Why didn't you tell
So
him
what
no?
did you do for the day and a half, or the extra day and a half, while the pipe needed to be repaired? I mean, how did you manage to bathe? How did you manage to get nourishment? I mean, did you have like any neighbors or friends or family that you stayed with, or that's messed up. I'm not gonna lie, that's really messed up.
Now exposing Stephanie Sue for who she supposedly is.
Stephanie, who was afraid I might speak up about what really happened. That feels less like a personal story and more like true crime reenactment. It just all felt calculated. I'm going to show you the real version that she edited out.
What he has to share is so compelling. It has Stephanie fans switching sides. I think Stephanie really made some big mistakes here. Stephanie Sue has always been extremely manipulative and calculated. She was afraid of losing her popularity for being a mean girl. So what exactly did Nikocado reveal?
What the hell? I haven't heard that name in a long time.
To understand what Nikocado is accusing Stephanie of, here is a quick synopsis of what happened.
My throat was screaming for soothing tea. I think we had water jugs. I had to go buy some. I'm surprised they actually had some places that were open on Christmas Day when you need it the most.
She, Nikocado, and Zach Choi planned to film 3 mukbang videos together. But during one collab, Nick brought up old drama between Stephanie, Veronica Wang, and Shook Bang, a topic Stephanie says he was clear about avoiding.
Nick said it very assertively. We're going to talk about Veronica and we're going to spill all the tea.
For context, years earlier, Veronica falsely copyright struck a Shook Bang, who made a parody of their collab. Nick spoke out at the time, but Stephanie stayed silent. Now, during filming, Nick allegedly kept pushing the topic.
It was just rapid fire, and it increasingly went from Shukba, maybe the first 2 sentences, into Veronica. But I was too scared of you because you made me feel manipulated and fearful of what you would do. You made me scared of your anger, and so no, I wasn't.
It was 3 days before or after Christmas, so we got lucky by that token. And yeah, but still, this is something that you really didn't have to go through, unfortunately. But I'm glad to see that it did, it was resolved. Maybe not be perfect, but it was resolved in a manner that would have been much more ideal. Okay, so what else to talk about? Okay, so another thing is, I decided to do a little short video on my YouTube Shorts, and I was looking at the Nintendo Switch 2 section at Walmart. So there's been a great deal of discourse on the internet pertaining to the cost of the system itself, and of course some of the other controversial decisions that they made, like game key cards and all that other stuff. So I don't know if anybody here are gamers here, but just to fill you guys in on what's going on. So the Nintendo Switch 2 came out back in June, and currently it has sold 5 million units, which is very quick for a system, which is unprecedented. Although I think the 5 million may have actually been retracted a little bit, because they say they have 5 million shipped as opposed to being sold. But what it was that there's been some discourse on the internet where people were complaining about game key cards, to where you get a physical cartridge, and what you do is that you take the cartridge, put it inside the system, and then you go to the Switch and you download the game onto the cartridge itself. But once you do that, that's it. You get your game in the cartridge, and now you get the game in the cartridge. You don't have to worry about relying on the internet access to play it. You can just play it offline with the cartridge in it. That's it. So that was a big controversy for a lot of people for some reason. But they have a few developers or game developers such as CD Projekt Red that has put Cyberpunk 2077 with the DLC Phantom Liberty all in one 64-bit cartridge So it kind of shows that how is it that this developer took the time to actually put all of the content, a very intensive, ambitious game, onto a cartridge, while others want to take a shortcut and use a key card.
About Veronica Way.
So that's kind of the other issue here. Plus, some games are expensive. You know, also the cost of the system with the game and all that. So I've looked at. So if you look at the video, I noticed that the only games that are actually like $80 on launch right now are really just Mario Kart World and Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom for the Switch 2, the Switch 2 edition. But the other ones on the other hand, they range from $40 up to $80 if you're looking at the other games that are premium based. Whereas Breath of the Wild for the Switch 2 is $70, but then you got other games that's like $60, $40. That's like $40, $50, $60 within that range. So
the damage from Stephanie's accusations still follow him. So on June 17th, 2025, Nico Cotto posted 2 exposed videos. In the videos, he claimed the story Stephanie shared was shaped by selective storytelling and emotional framing. Since Stephanie's call-out video gained over 17 million views, while Nico Cotto's response stayed under 4 million, he believes many people formed an opinion about him without ever hearing his side of the story. And what happens when millions meet you for the first time through someone else's words?
You grew out of it? When was the last time you actually played a video game? And how long ago since you've actually touched it? Since you touched gaming? But, that was one of the things I wanted to go ahead and elaborate on, because when I did, when I actually went to the store and actually looked at it, I was like, yeah, but at the same time, I looked at it, the Switch 2 is still selling. Like, they didn't have any units. I talked to somebody that worked there, and they said that the last shipment they had a bunch of them, but they all pretty much went pretty quick. A lot faster than when they got it shipped in.
Take a look after this video if you haven't heard about it. But Nick said he's not the person people think he is. That much of what they saw online was a persona, an exaggerated character built for the mukbang world.
I was on a character development for my YouTube channel. I was intentionally gaining weight. I was intentionally acting like a buffoon. I was developing an online persona.
According to him, people mistook performance for reality. But Nick opened his case with something only a few saw coming. He took accountability. He admitted his reaction to Stephanie canceling their collab was immature. He said he overreacted to her texts, acknowledged he was wrong to vent on social media, and, most unexpectedly, offered a direct public apology to Stephanie.
That was 100% my fault. I was immature, I was unkind, I was unprofessional, I was childish, I was wrong. Stephanie, I am genuinely sorry.
But then, he shifted to the main part of the story, one he believes was never told. Nico Cotto claimed Stephanie was not the quiet, nervous figure many believed. He alleged
she talked poorly about other creators in her community.
According to him, the real conflict began when she realized
jeez. It'd been over a year and a half. Or a year and a half. My poor Xbox 360 got the red ring of death, so I had to trash it. Xbox 360, we salute you. It's been a while. It's been a while. Unfortunately. I'm surprised you still have a 360. I mean, 360's been, I wouldn't say obsolete, but it's been away for a long time, since 2010, I think, 2012 or something around that time. And Xbox One took over, and now we got the Xbox Series of systems here. Oh man, the red ring of death.
He argued it would be highly unlikely for someone with deep anxiety to
I don't know why a lot of these random Twitch pages pop up, which turn out to be nothing but bots popping in to advertise possibly, you know, a possibility for you to get your account, get your information stolen. Or they want you to do something illegally that's going to get you banned from Twitch, because, you know, they discourage you from actually buying bots or buying views and stuff like that. And there's the same thing with YouTube as well. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing though. If you had it for a decade or so and the Red Ring of Death didn't appear, then I have to say I'm very impressed. Because there was a lot of people that actually had the Red Ring of Death experience, and that was pretty terrible. And there was no fix for it for some reason. It was weird because that was actually one of the better systems that Microsoft actually worked on. And they did very well for it. They did very well with that system. They did really, really well. It was definitely a very competitive platform that really showed a lot of its teeth.
To intensify and distort the nature of our conflict that was at its core about gossiping on camera, canceling a collab.
Me, I never had the luxury of owning an Xbox system at all, but I do have an Xbox One, but that was actually given to me for free by somebody because he has an Xbox Series and he didn't need to use the Xbox One anymore, which is understandable. And it's not really a system that's able to perform or output, you know, games like talking about it anymore, especially current games. Plus, it's a diskless system that I have, so I just have it just for show, as opposed to actually investing in it for some other reason.
I have been sitting here for 5 hours. So no, I'm sorry, I do not understand. But ignore me for 5 hours after that. Don't play games.
He also questioned Stephanie's tone.
It's like they were made to last, unlike the newer stuff, whether it be games or clothes or what do you have you. Well, I agree with you, but even my PlayStation 3 went kaput, particularly the disc drive itself. And it was something that my brother gave me, and he had that PS3 for a long time. He decided to give it to me. Once he gave it to me, I've actually played a good bit of it for a while. I've actually went through the Mass Effect trilogy and played the hell out of that, and that was a phenomenal experience, which I would definitely say. And I played a slew of other games like the Uncharted games, and it was amazing. And unfortunately, like one day when I tried to set the system up to play another game, I noticed that the disk drive was not reading, or when I put the disc in, it was stuck in there. I had to literally do some weird shit in order to pull it out, pull the disc back out, and I was distraught by it. So I was trying to figure out, why is it acting like that? Why is it behaving like that? And unfortunately, oh, I got a PS2 still. My PS2 still works. I even have a GameCube. My GameCube still works like a charm. Everything works very well. It's just that nowadays, because now that video games or video game systems are now directly connected to the internet in some capacity, it actually gives more encouragement for developers to not really deliver a completely finished product. So it'll give them room to keep adding in more content over time and possibly make you shell out more money in the process.
But this time, something had changed. Unlike 5 years ago, the response to Miko Kado's new video was highly positive. This is the most genuine apology video I've ever seen on YouTube. Validation of her emotions while still pointing out the false picture she tried to push you to do. Pulling the Me Too card over a YouTuber fallout, and a pretty mild one at that, was so incredibly low it says a great deal about her character. She really did Nick wrong in this situation. Many were shocked at Stephanie's editing in her Miko Kado video. The part where she cut out the clip of her laughing and chewing to make it seem like she was terrified is so disgusting. Stephanie's talking so childlike in that video, more than usual. That just paints a picture by itself. She wanted to keep the smudged makeup there to make it look like she was upset. One of the strongest themes in the comments came from survivors of SA, who expressed deep discomfort with how Stephanie framed her story. As a victim of repeated SA, I was emotionally swayed and immediately sympathized with her when I watched her first video. But when I detached my own personal emotions from the matter, I realized something felt off about what Stephanie was doing. I was SA when I was 22 years old. It doesn't give you a license to project that onto every other person for the rest of your life each time you find yourself unable to say no to something. What she did was unethical. Even longtime Stephanie fans were disappointed. I watched the entire video, and I think Stephanie really made some big mistakes here. That's not genuine at all. It's just not. I'm honestly so disappointed acknowledged that he still had more to say. He mentioned that Stephanie had originally wanted to make a full documentary about the Veronica Wang situation, something he avoided talking about in too much detail. He explained that his first response video, which was over half an hour long, was too much for most viewers to sit through.
I was just trying to think, like, I need to keep this concise because I made a response to her many years ago and it got no views compared to her, and I think people maybe tuned out. It was too long.
Nico Cotto also shared that he had been getting questions about the controversy.
Truth is, for example, I was just on TikTok 2 days ago, live stream, and the amount of people were asking about Stephanie. What did you do to her? You needed to talk about, you need to apologize for, like, you corrupted her system, and I was like, oh gosh, people just, they don't know.
But then, that was it. After a few early minutes, the video made a sharp turn into a regular mukbang. Stephanie was barely mentioned again. Then why use Stephanie's name and face so prominently if he didn't intend to talk more about the situation? Was he just milking the situation for more views? It's not the first time he's done this. 5 years ago, he also made 6 videos after the back and forth, most of them barely mentioning the controversy. Nick's latest video also gave off this feeling. Just came from Nico Cotto's new video. It's vile. He can't stay relevant, so grasping for straws. People aren't talking about it anymore, so he's dredged up any little exposure he had in the past, while some felt more neutral. With Stephanie being kind of prevalent with the trial work she is doing, and Nick kind of making his way back into being popular with the weight loss, I can understand why he would want to address this. Regardless of the misleading title and thumbnail, the response to Nico Cotto's second video was also mostly supportive. Some celebrated the return of what they called a calm version of Nico Cotto, one many people found refreshing, and many comforted Nico Cotto by saying they believe him and will stand by him. But while many welcomed this new chapter, not everyone was convinced. He hasn't changed. People kept saying his behavior is all an act. He's such a good actor. No, Nick isn't a good person despite his false stunning attitude sometimes. He acts like he's this nice and genuine guy, but he's not. I really don't care.
Oh, what time is it on my end? Currently right now it's sitting at, oh jeez, I guess I gotta do it this way then. 8:44. Currently is at 8:44 p.m. You say you're on a Pacific Northwest, right? So would you say that it's like maybe 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock? Almost 9 o'clock, almost 11, 10 o'clock. I mean, is it almost like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock on your end?
Apologize to Nick. What you did was really disgusting. SA isn't something to joke about or use as something to cover for you not ghosting him. So 5 years later, Nico Cotto has reopened a chapter many thought was closed. And now, for the first time in years, it's not him under fire. It's Stephanie. Will she ever respond? Or hope the silence drowns it out? While you're here, check out our other videos about young creators that people are worried for.
Oh, 2 hours behind. Wait a second, Pacific Northwest. Oh yeah, that's right. East Coast is usually 2 hours ahead. Okay, that makes sense. East Coast is 2 hours ahead. You're Pacific, so you're on the West Coast. Which part of the West you're living in right now, if you don't mind me asking? Well, you don't have to necessarily say it. You can just say that. You don't have to worry about answering that question. Then, my bad. 2 hours. Okay, you're 2 hours behind me, so you're 6:45. Okay, that makes sense. Stupid me. I'm sorry.
Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mudahar, and ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be pretty.
No, I messed up on that part because I was thinking. I forgot. East Coast is when you're like 2 hours. I'm 2 hours behind the East Coast. I'm 1 or 2 hours behind the East Coast. You are 1 or 2 hours behind me on the West Coast.
When it's human beings talking. But obviously, I'm sure some of you guys know, and I'm sure a lot of your favorite creators have probably seen this. There's a serious problem with YouTube bots. Now, I've talked about this before, so there's no reason for me to be making another video unless there was some pretty serious criminal shit happening in the comment section below. Now, normally I wouldn't care about bots so much.
You know what's really funny though? Coming back on YouTube and actually trying to do this kind of stuff, it's kind of hard, really. I mean, looking back on it, it feels good, but at the same time, I realize, oh, Oregon State, dude, don't smack yourself in the head. Oh, Oregon State, nice, nice. Are you in the main place called Portland, or you're probably in a smaller town, I would assume. No, it's just that I forgot about it. I really did forget about it. It was just a lapse judgment. It was a lapse of judgment at that time. I wasn't thinking properly. You kept saying Pacific. You say Pacific Northwest, so I got it mixed up with the East Coast because time discrepancy is usually like different places here and there, here and there.
So, how does this happen? How is this occurring? And I'm going to obfuscate some names because, to be honest with you, I don't want to give attention. And this is such a serious issue that, again, I feel like giving attention to these specific individuals just gives them power. So, one of the comments that you'll see, for instance, are these random bot accounts where they'll say, "I posted a preview of Daisy's Destruction on my page, full in description." Now, obviously, if you're
In between Portland and the Oregon coast. Oregon has to be one of the more unusual places. I know they got a little town called Boren, Oregon, because I only know about that because I was listening to NPR years ago, and they actually have some sort of sister country somewhere in, I think, either Scotland or Ireland called Dole. And it's some kind of like sister city that they share because Dole and Boren, they're synonymous with each other. That kind of stuff.
This is an issue that was out about a year ago. And again, this was posted 1 year ago on Reddit. What is the deal with, again, this group, and why is this happening? So on every big YouTuber's video, there's always a weird bot spamming hundreds of links to illegal material. One of the most horrible things I've ever seen them post to is, again, Daisy's Destruction. How is that allowed on YouTube? So one of the reasons why this is kind of allowed on YouTube is apparently these people have been trying to bypass the actual moderation. So for instance, if you take some of their comments, like these bot comments, you basically highlight it all, you copy it into a text editor, you might notice that they're abusing Unicodes like right to left, where certain languages like Arabic, Hebrew, anything that is written right to left, they will be abusing, these mechanics so that it will look normal to the human eye, but to a computer, to a AI moderation tool, it'll just look like garbled gibberish, okay? It'll be like the weirdest text they've ever seen, which makes moderation, I guess, difficult. And this is just one of the tools in these scumbags' arsenal. Now, thankfully, YouTube does...
I would love to go to Ireland one of these years. Oh, yeah? Which part of Ireland do you feel like you can connect with? I mean, I know Dublin is probably one of the more common responses, but I would probably think that maybe you want to try like a smaller town or something like that. Is there a particular place in Ireland you would like to travel to or live there? I mean, you would love to go to? Another thing is, I mean, if you want to live there too, that's cool too.
So on and so forth. You can probably imagine what these slurs are going to, but
At Granger, we have over 1 million products, including
every time you would go to the profile,
That's probably one of the few locations I would like to visit if I ever to go outside the country. That would probably be one of my personal favorite places to check out.
Now I decided to go down the rabbit hole, and I decided to flip on every virtual machine, secure container, VPN, proxy, every OPSEC protection tool in the book. So I do not recommend you do any of this on your own. Chances are, if you just go into these areas, they will flood you with illegal material. But anyways, I decided to check these Discords out, and to no shock of mine, there was very, very visible illegal material. To the point where, obviously, I reported it via Discord. I did every reporting I could to law enforcement agencies, as you should when you come across disgusting shit like
You start with Dublin, and maybe do a more rural town later on in the same trip. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I mean, get used to like the main city area where they're probably accustomed to tourists coming in. The other issue I would probably say is if you're going to go to, but the other thing is I would probably say is that maybe you might find, more of a homey place in a smaller town.
Where they would have used the private message system and actually send users adult, CSAM material, illegal material. So this was a post from a year ago where a user claimed to be banned from Discord for reporting a CP server. Their account literally got suspended due to serious policy violations. And you might be wondering what the policy violations were. They broke the rules for child safety. So the way that I understand it, these scumbags guide young children or unsuspecting idiots into their Discord servers, right? Because, you know, kids just click down the rabbit hole or anything. They'll join any Discord you give them, okay? We're all dumb kids. The difference is, when I was a dumb kid, there wasn't these kind of calculated scumbags on the internet at this level of prevalence. But so a kid joins the server, they get sent illegal material, the scumbags report the victim's account, and then the victim's account obviously appears to possess, you know, some level of illegal CSAM material, which probably gets them into trouble, not just with Discord, but definitely would start an investigation, I would imagine, with law enforcement agencies as well, especially when Discord is kicking you off for that reason. So the user says there's a bot channel on YouTube where they post really deranged comments. They went to research, joined their server.
And that's ironic and funny because I entertained the idea of possibly moving to Ireland in many later years. I mean, what's one of the things that draw you towards Ireland? I mean, what is it about Ireland that seems so rich that resonates with you? I mean, is it the culture, the atmosphere, the food, or just the way how people talk? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the way how Irish people speak, they have such a very distinctively beautiful voice when you listen to them talk. Especially, you can hear the passion coming from them when they speak.
And they were permanently suspended for child safety. So, according to this user, and again, I don't know everything in the back end that happened, but they ended up getting banned for reporting this kind of disgusting behavior. And it really seems like the Uno reverse carded on him. And again, obviously, some guy in the comment section literally says, yeah, you should have done that on and off. And yes, that is true. You should not be investigating these things, period, unless you actually know the kind of scumbags you're dealing with. These people are willing to not just get rid of your account. And
like I said, it's been kind of a weird thing for me, though, because trying to get back on here and talking on here, it's been a long time since I've actually done something like this in a long, long while. But, you know, nowadays I don't necessarily have, like, an entire group of people backing me and everything. Like, I don't have, like, a chat room with people's names popping in, so I don't even know. I have some measure of Celtic on my dad's side, and I'm drawn to the Irish music and culture. You know, that makes a lot of sense, and I don't blame you for that, because Irish people, I mean, Irish music is very, very beautiful, actually. Let me see. Maybe I can put on some of the Celtic music in the process. Let me see. In the background. Epic Celtic music, maybe. There we go. Let's try this. Because I know Celtic Woman is a very beautiful thing, too. Let me see.
From relieving roughness to soothing skin, there's Before and then there's Aquaphor.
Craft Real Mayonnaise, made with eggs from farms right here in America. Real good ingredients, real good taste.
Now, it's not really quite the music that we're thinking about, but this is heavily Celtic inspired. Hey, look, I love this type of music myself. I love orchestrated music. I love classical music. I love this type of music, ethnic music. It's very empowering. It's very beautiful. It has a very strong resonation with me. It resonates with me very well. So, and also if you're curious, while you're probably listening to some music in the background while you're doing something, this is the name of the video. And this guy here, Adrian Von Ziegler, he's one of the early musicians on YouTube that has made this kind of music all throughout his career. He and his wife, Elaton, she does music similar to this as well. But this is the name of this is the name of the music and the name of the video that you need to check out. And you know, this is music I'm gonna be listening to while we're talking to each other. Since you brought it up, I'm actually very glad that that you brought that up. Yeah, you should. And actually, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to Adrian Von Ziegler while you're at it, and also Elathon, because they still compose music even to this day. They still make new music, and they get really, really good. Now, they got another song called Wolf's Blood, Ancient Storm. Those are some other fantastic songs you could probably listen to from the library here. Moon Song is also another beautiful piece of music you should check out too. There is something very sublime and surreal about this type of music, and I agree with you 100%. And I actually have music from Enya. I also have music from Celtic Woman. I even have Sarah Brightman as part of my list as well. I'm glad. I'm really glad you did. This is kind of the music you want to listen to when you're getting ready to go into a fight, too. Or if you're working out in the gym. People might look at you kind of crazy, but it's like, hey man, this is some good fucking music. Fuck you. That's what you need to tell people. Oh, I don't know if you actually know about this. They got this. I don't know if you know about Michael Flatley and the Riverdance. I'm not sure if you remember that. Yeah, hang on for a tick. I'm gonna go ahead and get the clothes. We'll take care of that right quick. It's okay. Nice talking to you, Andrea. boys. Well, I gotta admit, so it's been a pretty decent stream. Glad somebody was able to speak to me and all that. That was really nice. But guess I'm gonna have to take my leave anyway in about 14 minutes or so. I'm gonna go ahead and try to at least tuck myself in early enough so I can get some sleep. Got a long day tomorrow anyway. So with that being said, it's been a pleasure. And hopefully this one actually saves and it goes straight to my internet. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, y'all take care and let the good times roll.